Welcome to That's What She Said, where we'll spill the tea on women empowerment in the Great Lakes Bay region with your host, Christiana Malacara.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode on another beautiful day of That's What She Said with me, Christiana Malacara. And let's just talk about going with the flow, okay? It's hard to do sometimes. It's easy to do sometimes. It's one of those things that only some of us can do with finesse. Other of us go with the flow and we get stressed out. Some of us don't even know what going with the flow is. Some of us go with the flow and we don't even know we're going with the flow. We're just like, you know what? Day by day, girl. We're just going to do this day by day. But allow yourself to go with the flow. I have been, honest to God, I've been a little stressed out lately. And the thing about stressing out is what are you going to accomplish by being so worried about the next step? Because the next step is going to come and it's going to go. And the best way to move through obstacles is to just muscle right through it and go with the flow. Tomorrow is going to come and it's going to pass, just like those hard times and those happy times. So embrace it as you are going with the flow today, please. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. Thank you for tuning in to That's What She Said with Christiana Malacara. And I am going to go ahead and tell you when to tune in, because some of those things have changed in a good way. So live, right? That's What She Said is live every Thursday at 1:30 here on Facebook. And then again on 24/7 on Spodcast, on Spotify, Audible, Apple Podcasts, all those fun places. But most importantly, we are on WSGW 100.5 and 790. Here's the addition, okay? Saturday, 8 a.m. Yup. All my morning girlies out there, Saturday, 8 a.m. And then again, Sunday at 6 p.m. So add us on all the networks. We're there, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. I'm working on that one. We're going with the flow. So today we have a guest who I think she goes with the flow. I don't know. She's kind of taken some really awesome leaps throughout her life and leaned on family and faith. But I'll let her share that with you because we're trying to get to know each other. She has some awesome food at her restaurant. Ooh, that's a clue. And she is located in the heart of downtown Saginaw. There's another clue. So for those of you chiming in, oh, and she has her dog with her. Okay, now I just gave it away. Juliana Arkwood is just an amazing human with usually a colored hair, and it's purple today. So thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you, Christiana, for having us.
I greatly appreciate you being here, and I really appreciate you coming into a space where you can share and be comfortable. And I think that you're pretty cool. I think that there's just, when I asked you to come on, I was like, yeah, let's do this. Let's learn more about each other. Because I know when I step into your restaurant, I'm really excited to see you and I'm really excited to see the people that are there. And it's very intentional in what I'm doing when I come in, right? I'm greeting everyone, but as are you. And you're constantly filling people's cups just with that simple greeting. So can you tell the listeners how the community might know you?
Christiana's got me blushing already.
Because she's so cool.
And I loved your soapbox, by the way. I was already feeling like I was in like a therapy session. So that was awesome. And absolutely like the latter part of that with the going with the flow, day by day. I still feel like, faking it till I make it. And yeah. I'm a little over 5 years now that I've had Valerie's downtown. So thank you. I'm glad, at least on the surface, it usually looks like I know what I'm doing. And I love the name of your segment. I just have to say that. That's What She Said.
Yes.
Do you know there's probably a handful of times throughout any given day where myself, my staff, where we just have to say that. And I think that's from The Office, yes?
Yeah, okay. I do.
We are huge Office fans, and there's lots of little things about The Office at the restaurant.
Yeah.
So I just had to remember to say those two things first.
Yes.
And see, now I forgot the question. How did I get here? Was that the question?
How would the community know you?
From Valerie's, definitely from Valerie's. I have made so many amazing contacts through the restaurant, so many. And that's one of the blessings that it's definitely brought me. It's people like you, people that I have known for most of my life, but only maybe known them as acquaintances or knew their face, but maybe not their name. Especially people like from school. I went to a small school, so yeah, you knew everybody, but you weren't, of course, friends with everybody. But some of those people who were just maybe, yeah, I know them, they seem nice, have become regulars at Valerie's and really become good friends. We have a lot of regulars, the downtown community, especially the businesses. Thank them. We have a lot of regulars, and I have a pretty good memory with names. Usually if I meet you once, I'll usually remember. If it's a person who always gets something, the same thing to eat all the time, then I remember that.
Wow.
Sometimes quicker than their name. But yeah, so it's definitely the community. It's what it's brought to my life, and I hope to other people's lives. It warms my heart very much when people will say that they feel so welcomed in a cozy environment, and they maybe feel like they're at home when they come into the restaurant. I think with anybody that has a small business restaurant, that should be a goal of theirs, but it's not something that you can just. It takes time maybe to happen, or it's because of the people, my people that I have there, my team at Valerie's, that we want people to feel like that, and then there's people who a lot of times are passing through, like not from the area, and they'll just have looked up on Google restaurants nearby, and Valerie's downtown will pop up. We get a lot of guests sent from our neighbor, the Castle Museum, because there's a lot of out-of-towners that will come to the Castle Museum, and our awesome neighbors will always say, like, if they're looking for a lunch spot, go to Valerie's. Yeah. But on that note, also, if not Valerie's, go to the SVRC Marketplace. Yeah. That's an amazing, amazing business there for the community as well. Lots of options there too. Some amazing women running that business.
Yeah. There are a lot of women out that way.
Yes.
Now that I'm thinking about, okay, so can you tell us the address of Valerie's?
216 South Washington Avenue, 48607. 07 is the historic zip code, I believe.
Ooh.
Yeah, so 48607.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that corner right there on Federal, that whole intersection now that I think about it, there's a lot of women-owned businesses right there. Because you have Erica's.
Yep, my neighbor Erica.
And then Dawn the New Day was there, but she owns that building there.
Correct. Yep.
And then around the corner we have Carmen Castillo. And then Therapeutic Hope.
Yep,
and then
awesome.
and then the next corner, the next part is Sarah's, right?
Yes, Sarah's Cafe. Yep.
It just got brighter.
The hair shop. The hair shop as well.
Oh, the hair shop. That's right.
Imani, I want to say. Yep.
I just met her too.
Yep.
Whoa. All right. Okay. We're gonna have to have a party and talk about this.
And another neighbor.
Yeah.
But she is in Old Town Saginaw, but still community.
Yep.
Women-owned business, Artisan Bistro.
This is right.
Chef Lonnie and Chef Blake are amazing there. Yep.
And then around that corner we have the Bread Gal.
Yep.
Jeez Louise. All right.
Lots.
We've opened a lot.
Pretty awesome.
It is.
It
is. Yeah. And I mean, we need the guys out there too, but like, whoa, these girls are rocking the restaurant industry here. Yeah. This is amazing. So when it comes to small businesses, okay, when did you open?
Very late October of 19.
Oh, right before the pandemic.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
That's kind of my life. Timing. Great timing.
Going with the flow.
There you go. Yep.
Going with the flow. Okay. So you opened the restaurant end of 2019. We're going into 2020. What was going through your head when you're like, I have a restaurant. What do I do? What'd you do?
So I was, and I still feel quite green, I will say. I worked in many restaurants between like my mid-teens to mid-20s, worked in a lot of restaurants, different roles or different, jobs. Of course, never in even a managerial capacity at that time.
Okay.
And then I graduated, worked in the hospital for a good 15 years, the hospital system, and then made a big 180 with life with opening Valerie's. So, yeah.
What what was the pivoting moment where you're like, you know what, I'm going to open Valerie's. Let's do it now or never?
It wasn't an impulsive decision. I did as much due diligence as I could, but then even still for a good, I wouldn't even say it's ended, but for still to this day, it's what goes through my head is you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And I've been surrounded with amazing people to help me along this journey with having a restaurant, everybody, not everybody, but so many people have brought so much to my life with how they've helped or mentored me or, and guided. So it takes a village. I may be the owner, but by no means is any success that Valerie's has, just for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, and I have been saying this more lately is it takes a village to build a village.
Mm-hmm.
There was no village that was just one person saying, hey, I'm going to go do this. It takes a lot of resources. So tell us a little bit about, we're going to do this. Tell me about the people that are behind the scenes at Valerie's.
I have an amazing, small, mighty team. Amazing. A little funny, I opened a restaurant and I really don't cook. I don't cook.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hang on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I never told you that. Yeah. So my mom's an amazing cook. My husband is an amazing cook. I did make Valerie's menu. So I did do that, of course, with help. The Mexican food on the menu is from my mom. And just very blessed with the people that have come through the doors that have stayed for quite a while as far as staff, with the team, all different kinds of talents, creativity. I am more than happy to let the chefs have creative freedom when it comes to, the soup du jour or desserts and specials of the day and kind of thing. So it's them.
Okay. So this is pretty unheard of. I mean, I haven't heard of it, so we're going to call it unheard of. You open a restaurant and you don't cook. That's like a mechanic opening a shop. I don't know anything about cars. What?
Yeah.
Why?
Part of the crazy, I guess, that goes along with opening your own business, especially a restaurant. Blind faith. I just went with it.
Tell me about that. What's blind faith?
I remember what went through my head so many times when I was still debating on buying the building. So I started inquiring with the then owner of the building in May of 19. I did not commit to it until July. Purchased the building in August, but then wasn't able to open until late October because of lots of renovations. We did a whole lot. So I just remember always thinking what kept going in my head that finally made me jump was, if I don't do this, I'll always wonder what if I don't do it. And so you jump. And, nothing is permanent. If something isn't working out right, or if it's not what you thought it would be, mind you, of course, there was really me not knowing what it would be, but I wouldn't change anything. I've had people ask me, if you knew the pandemic was going to happen, what would you have, made the choice? And it surprised me at first when they would ask that, because then I thought about it, of course, and I said, well, I don't even think about that, because what's the point? Yeah. Here I am now. I feel like this is my livelihood, and we're still, knock on wood, making it work. Sometimes it's really a feeling for me of, well, the lights are still on, so we're okay.
We're doing good.
We're okay.
Yeah.
My people are taken care of. We're okay.
Yeah.
So it's nothing is permanent. If something was really not what I thought it would be, or too hard, taxing on my life after I made the commitment, you can change it, but I wouldn't change anything, no matter all the different stresses and whatnot and blood, sweat, and tears. I wouldn't change anything. There's at the restaurant where I'm usually posted is behind the counter. Like we call it the penny counter. That's where I'm usually posted. And I observe a lot from back there. And, I see people that come to have a lunch date that haven't maybe seen their company in years, reconnecting. And sometimes they'll spend hours. Sometimes, we are mainly a lunch spot Monday through Friday, 11 to 3. There'll be people that come shortly after open and stay till close, just catching up with each other. And I love seeing that. I love seeing people like connecting and just being comfortable to stay there and not, there's no And then, of course, some people, of course, they've got a limited lunch that they have to get in and out. And we do tell those people because sometimes, well, when we are busy, it's no really rhyme or reason to busy or not, but we tell those guests, just so you know, you can always call ahead, put in your order, and then it'll be ready right here when you get, when you come in. So then you're not pressed for time.
Yeah.
So it's different, it's different. And again, like the out of towners that will come and just found us on Google because we have good reviews. Thank you for that. No marketing budget over here, so that helps a lot. So please like and give us a good review. So it's and they're just they compliment different things. The staff, everybody's friendly, so it means a lot to me. That really means a lot to me.
Well, okay, a couple points here because my mind's just racing. Right? You've said twice that there's no such thing as permanency, right? That things can happen and change and shift. And why do you say that? I mean, I feel like it's true for my own personal reasons, but why do you say that, like, you can change it if you don't like it?
Because life never stops throwing you curveballs.
Yeah.
Never stops. And it's just we all have choices. This is my little baby. Sorry guys if you see a little jiggling happening. This is Kato down here.
He's a dog.
He's my baby. But it's so much about it is how we react, and everybody has hindsight and woulda, coulda, shoulda, but even whatever your initial reaction may be to a situation, it's not like even that has to be permanent. You can change it if you choose. You can try to make it better, or you can make a different decision if it wasn't the right thing, and who's to say what the right thing is? We all have our own paths. So
say we made a decision and we're sticking to plan A. And then something, these curveballs you said, like life just throws you curveballs. If it's in, and for our listeners out there, you can go and comment and share, like, a curveball can be personal and education and your career, whatever that might be. And you're one of those people where it's like, nope, this was plan A and we're sticking to plan A. What advice would you tell them to say, hey, it's okay to go to plan B?
Be flexible.
Mm.
Be flexible. Change is scary for the most part. Overall, change can be scary, especially, if you're in a career that you've been in for a long time and you really don't like it, you're quite miserable in it. It's not good for your personal life, but it's a paycheck, that kind of complacency, I would say, that you just deal with it. But we're only given one life. So just flexibility, with the restaurant and in general with different things that I've experienced and gone through. I pray for resiliency because, that's a big one for me, especially because, again, it's my own restaurant. You can't help but take things personal when it's something that goes, quite wrong and really heart heavy kind of stuff. So to pray for resiliency and just keep on trucking. Sometimes you feel like you're doing good and you're, moving along like a running feeling. And then other times you feel like you're just stumbling over your own 2 feet all the time. But
so when it comes to resiliency, you're leaning on faith for this, or are there people in your life that keep you resilient? How do you gain resiliency?
You tell me when you find that answer.
Kato the dog, do you have an answer for us?
Yeah. So I've got a great support system for sure. A great support system, not just with my team at Valerie's, my family. My parents have always been very involved at the restaurant. Dad is one of 4-ish or so like handymen, if something needs to be done. I mean, the building's over 150 years old. So just like a home, there's always something.
There's always something.
But very good support team. I lean on them for sure. I'm somebody that I never want to feel like I'm burdening anybody. So sometimes maybe
why do you feel that way?
Because I don't want to put my stresses or my worries on somebody that I care about, just
do you think a lot of women feel that way?
Well, I'm sure.
Why? Because
there's so much that we try to keep on top of in life. There's so much, and some are better at compartmentalizing and then tackling each thing more disciplined maybe. And then I know for myself, when things feel so big and overwhelming, I tend to shut down It takes me a bit to get my steam up again to try to tackle things. And we all have our strengths and weaknesses. And definitely as a business owner, I identify, I can see what mine are. But it's just, we're all just, probably sounds cliche, but we're all, I feel, just trying to do the best we can with our lives and with the people that we love, and we make mistakes.
We do. We do.
Ask for forgiveness.
We do. That's a key right there, is asking for forgiveness. And we're going to dive into that portion in our second half. But real quick, in this last minute and a half before we break, you said that you suppress, you take all these emotions and you suppress them. And you're a very cheerful woman. Can you give one piece of advice real quick? Why, how is it that you keep that cheerfulness up and alive?
There's definitely days where I'm really trying to put that smile on my face. I believe that I'm a natural introvert, believe it or not. Yeah. No, yes. You don't know me from I was a wallflower for years. Okay. My big sister, Valerie, who the restaurant's named after, she was the outgoing one. She was everybody's friend and walked around with a little pep in her step and smiling. And, I was like the wallflower and did, not sociable. And, it's funny how life kind of just changes you, but it's in Valerie's, when I'm at Valerie's, because it's an extension of my home. I feel very comfortable, and my personality is still authentic. It is definitely me. It's just how I'm comfortable. But put me in a situation or like a event where I don't know anybody, and I
like on air.
I revert, because I'm comfortable. And there's just three of us in here, but I do tend to revert and be more shy seeming, I guess.
And I think we're going to dive into that in our second half. We're going to talk a little bit more about home and what is home for women all over, because home could be identified as anything. So stay tuned for everybody tuning in on the airwaves. Tune in in just a few minutes, and we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Juliana Stricker. Thanks.
That's What She Said with Christiana Malacara is back. Now let's spill the tea.
Hi, and welcome back to That's What She Said. So yeah, my name's on there, Christiana Malacara. That's What She Said with me. I know I usually, and I just did, I talked a little bit on a tangent there at the end, but it's about what she said, the other person, the guest that I have. And that person is usually, no, I should say always. Yeah, they're always stellar. I have a woman every week coming and having a conversation with me and spilling the tea on women empowerment. That story, that adventure, that journey that they have comes from all different walks of life, right here in your own backyard. So ways you can tune in and hear these conversations, even if you've missed them, is 24/7 on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Audible. Those are just wonderful avenues that we use. If you're listening to us live right now, you're probably on Facebook. So That's What She Said Facebook and WSGW on Facebook. And then on WSGW 100.5 FM, 790 AM, Saturdays at 8 AM. That's the new edition. And then Sundays at 6 PM. So that was a lot of words. Let me take a deep breath. And let's get back to our guest. When we were just talking with Juliana, and she is the owner of Valerie's downtown Saginaw. She brought her fur baby into the studio with us, so I'm really excited. Anytime I get to see a pup, hey, I'm over the moon. But we were just leaving the conversation about home and feeling comfortable, and how women just take their emotions and kind of bundle them up sometimes because we are dealing with so much. So can you share with us home? What is home? Who's home? Where is home?
Hmm.
And why is that important to us?
I think home is the most important, if not very up there to anybody that, you know, and home is different for everybody. It doesn't mean, you know, a spouse and kids and picket white fence. It's different for everybody. You know, I think at a young age, a lot of us get it in our heads, oh, you should be, you know, for example, done with school by the time you're this age, married by this age, kids by this age. All those expectations are definitely more old school, I'd say. But home is where you have your peace, where you feel you can always just be yourself and comforted and loved. And again, you can be single. I was single for a very long time, you know, living alone, but it's still, your home is where your love is. You know, it's home for me is with my fur baby Avocado again, Cato, and my husband Blake, and my bonus daughter Mallory, which is Blake's daughter, and that's, I would say, definitely the biggest blessing that I say my sis, the restaurant Valerie's Downtown, has brought to my life, because not only did my fur baby here come to me at the restaurant, he was a stray in front of the restaurant.
Okay.
Over 3 years ago in July.
he found you.
We found each other.
You found each other at Valerie's.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And I feel a story coming on.
I found my other stray, my husband Blake, at the restaurant as well.
At Valerie's.
Yes.
What a blessing Valerie's has been. Tell us about how you found Avocado here. I mean, I know parts of the story, guys, so I know I'm a little, but okay, share. Let's take the time to do this.
So it was over 3, you know, but this July it'll be 4 years now. But it was a Monday night about 7. I tell this story so often; it's one of my favorite stories. It was a Monday night about 7:00, and I was still at the restaurant, as I am usually there for hours after close, doing different things. And behind the penny counter, where I usually am, and had I not looked up at the split second that he was trotting across the sidewalk right in front of the restaurant, we would have missed each other. It was literally like that. It was fate. It was a God wink, fate. And so I happened to look up and I see him. And so I'm a dog lover. I didn't have my own dog. So I ran out there to go and meet him, because I thought his person was like trailing behind.
Okay.
So I looked where he came from and there was nobody there. And at this point, he's to the end of the block, where Federal is, where the SVSU building is.
Yep.
He's at the end of the block. And so I ran after him and I just said, I was maybe 3 feet from him. And I said, "Come here, baby." And he just turned and did like a smile, and he came right to me. So we go back in the restaurant and I sit down and I'm like, well, now what do I do? So I took pictures of him. I put them all over my Valerie's Facebook page, and it got so many comments, likes, shares, people saying, "Oh, we saw him 2 weeks ago here. We could go there. He wouldn't come to us," kind of thing. And so an hour and a half or so had passed. In the meantime, I'm calling, my husband wasn't in my life at the time. So I'm calling my parents and calling like a friend and stuff. And I remember my dad saying, "Well, you can't have a dog. Take him to the pound." And that did something in my head, like, don't saying you can't.
You know
and
what?
I'm like, you know what?
I think I just got a dog.
So I did went through the right steps to try to find his owner, because I was sure that, like, with all the attention it got when I posted, that somebody was going to come forward and, you found my dog. So we actually stayed at the restaurant until like 10:00 that night. But I had called animal control 8:30 or so. And the officer that I spoke with, who I call one of Cato's fairy godmothers, and she and I have stayed in touch. So when I called, she was the one on call, and she's telling me where I can go drop off Cato after hours in a fenced-in area. And so I'm just looking at him and, feeling sad that he would feel sad and rejected again. So I asked her, well, can I just take him home with me? And then when his person comes forward, you'll get a hold of me. And she was like, yeah, wow. Yeah, if you're willing to do that, that'd be great. So took him home. And couple days in, I was already hoping that no one would come forward.
And we're
but
4 years later.
yeah, almost 4 years. And I did check for the microchip the next day, and
Yeah.
no chip, no.
Wow.
Now he's chipped, and now he's all kinds of official. So
He's yours.
yeah,
Wow.
he's the best boy. He gives lots of people joy at
Yeah.
the restaurant. So many people.
That's interesting how we find joy. And it's in the most, wild ways, right? One way that I find joy is, and here we go. One way that I find joy is drinking coffee in the morning by myself. And it's just, one of those things where it's just like, it's a reset, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just something I do once a day. Maybe sometimes I'm switching to tea, guys. So spilled the tea. Switching to tea. But, I find joy in that, right? Just that quiet time by yourself.
The little things.
And I think that a lot of us don't seek joy. I don't think that we try to find it. We just like, oh, that was fun. But I think it's really important to seek joy. That got deep. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, as women, like you had said it, you're like, we're pretty busy. We're maintaining all the things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have all these emotions that we're trying to suppress. Like, why is it that we don't, take a moment to ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So other than puppers here.
Oh, not to interrupt you, but just also just a quick little side note. I think maybe I don't remember who I say what to, but we did a Puppers of Valerie's Downtown calendar for 2025.
No, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
that's cute.
Well, you gotta follow my post more.
I'm sorry. If you haven't noticed, the little busy.
Yep. So, but we did that because we are all dog lovers at the restaurant. We all have dogs. And so when their birth month is known, of course, Cato's is not. But birth month known, then that's the month that the dogs are featured in. Cato is in our Found You month, which is July. And then neighbors like Erica's Flower Shop. Erica has a dog. Our neighbor, the Marketplace across the street.
That is so
one of the awesome ladies there has an amazing dog. And they come in sometimes. Well, they come in several times a week. And we have decided that her dog is Cato's work wife because they see each other so often. So she's in the calendar, like my little sister and parents' dogs. So there's lots of dogs in but I did this 100% for all the proceeds to go to the shelter. So it turned out awesome. It turned out amazing. We had it, thank goodness, because of different resources in time for Christmas, for Christmas gifts. And we were able to give, I want to say it was, if I remember correctly, to gift the animal control shelter, Saginaw Care and Control Animal Shelter. I'm sorry.
We'll add the link in the comments.
Is in there, yeah. But we were able to gift them $750.
Oh my goodness!
From the calendar sales.
Wow.
So that it was. Thank you to the community again for that, because that was what it was for.
Let's talk about giving back, because that's what you did. Why? Why do you give back? Because you do it all the time. Guys, I was just in and she's like, hey, you're on a date. Here's some cake. And I'm like, what? It was so good. But why is it important to give back? Why do you see that as, something you need to do?
I find more joy in giving than receiving.
Why?
Why?
Why? I mean, because most people like getting a gift, right?
And I do too. My husband definitely knows that. He knows I like surprises. He's very good at surprise gifts. But I don't know. I just think as a people, we're called to give and to help. And if our heart is in the right place, it's returned in different ways at some point. But you don't give whatever it is, whether it's doing somebody a favor or a gift or whatever small to big scale. You don't give with the intention of getting back. You give if it's in your heart to do so.
Yeah. What is, okay, we were talking about your husband, right? What is something that he's given you that you're just like, whoa, this is a big deal? Like as a surprise or not a surprise or?
Oh yeah. What has he given me? What hasn't he given me?
Yeah. How long have you been married?
In May, it'll be 2 years.
Oh,
Right?
I don't know.
Right? Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
comment, are you watching?
2020. Yes. May will be 2 years. Yes.
Okay.
Our romance was pretty
Well, you said you met at
fast.
Valerie's.
Yeah. So we knew each other for quite a while because he was a regular there for quite a while. And he would come in a few times a week usually. And our nutshell story, and it's a good story. It is it's a great story, really. But he wore me down. That's our story. And I'm
Okay.
very glad he did. And I'm very glad he was patient. And I'm a lot to handle. So I give him a lot of credit. So yeah, it was, I've asked him this before. I forget how long it was from like the time that he first expressed interest until I finally said, sure, let's have it, whatever, let's have a date. But
we're doing it here at Valerie's.
Yeah. And I've told him this several times too. I said, you're lucky that we met on my turf, because if I would have met you somewhere else in the world, again, not in my comfort space, I probably would have been too nervous and shy and awkward and all those things. So, but from our first date until marriage, it was pretty much a year, like 1 year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you knew, and it just love at first sight kind of thing?
No.
For him.
Oh, well.
It sounds like he was a regular because love at first sight.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to
He's
talk
precious.
to him.
He's pretty precious.
He seems like a pretty cool guy.
Mm-hmm. He's a great guy. He's more than I deserve. I say that too.
Oh, that's sweet. All right. Well, he's definitely gonna have to tune in now because there's so much mushy gushy love happening here.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to finding the right people in your life, we have
seasons.
Oh, okay. Tell me about that. Let's unpack that a little bit.
I think a lot of people too, and again, I think part of human nature is you try to control something. You try to control how you want it to be. But really, we don't have control of really anything, ultimately. But, and it's hard because I think all of us have had relationships, and whether they be a romantic relationship, a friendship, a professional, whatever the relationship type is, that we want it to go a certain way. And it's not, an organic thing. We try to make things bend to the way that we want them to be. And it's hard to kind of release that and just, let it be what it's going to be, or let it play out how it's meant to, because we might meet somebody that we think that a romantic relationship, they're the one, and then it's not reciprocated, and then you have to.
This is where the seasons come.
Yeah, the seasons, different seasons, different lessons. For a lesson, for life, or for a season. It's just, but again, not. I know I've been there more times than I can count, where this is what I want in this relationship, and it's happened how it's meant to have happened. That it was short-lived or
didn't pan out. You said something that was pretty interesting. You said, and I'm not going to say it verbatim now because my mind is flowing. You said different season, different lesson. That's important.
Mm-hmm.
That's so important. I've never heard somebody say that. A lot of times we're like, oh yeah, that's my season of life. Like in that year when I was 33, that, that thing happened and that was that season. But if we think about different seasons, different lessons, maybe there's no such thing as a bad season then.
So yeah, it's about how people respond to it. Like lemonade from lemons. How's that go? Make
lemons.
Turn lemons to lemonade.
Yeah.
Did I say
turn
that?
lemons to lemonade? Yeah.
I've
never really. Okay, tangent. Well, I'm getting my ADD moment here. Lemonade is quite bitter.
You need more sugar.
You need more sugar. Like Blake.
Yeah.
So you've said a few times, it's how you react to something. That's the important part. So has there been, or can you share a time where you had to react to something and that was the more important part than the thing? And you can go as light or as heavy as possible on this, but like when you have to react, why did you say that was the important part?
Because that's what I think that's what can help us Yes, I think it's just growth. If you react to a negative situation, and like they say, like, again, tying in forgiveness, if it's said that if you don't forgive, you're just drinking poison yourself. So you don't forgive maybe for that other person, but for your own peace of mind, your own soul. What was the question? See, now you got me on a tangent. What was the initial?
This is what happens when you get the two of us in a room. So
Squirrels.
Yeah,
Squirrels.
exactly. We had I had went to the restaurant fairly recently,
Mhm.
and I order the same thing I always do. And I really do try to order different things, but I always end up getting Maz
Moss
nacho.
trash can nachos.
Oh, it's so good.
We're gonna be out of nachos next time you come, just so you know.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. I get nachos every time. And we were talking, and then all of a sudden we got pulled away, and then we're talking about something else. And then that's what it was. I was like, this conversation could go on forever because you're so fascinating. There's just many. Yeah. See, most people give me that reaction when I say you're very fascinating. And I think it's this part of us that we don't really know how cool we are because we're just trying to move through the motions and survive.
Mhm.
So we were talking about reacting and how you react to something is, more important than the thing that you're reacting
Oh, I know what
to.
I was gonna say.
Okay, tell me.
I know what I was gonna say.
Light bulb.
Thank you. See, you got me back.
Okay, here we go.
I like to think that I'm a good communicator. Communication, I think, is extremely important. And again, any type of relationship. There's some people that don't want to confront things or put it all out there. And confront, of course, has a negative kind of meaning to it. But I feel like to confront something, to clear the air, to not have any resentment, or you think that this person meant this, that, or the other, and it wasn't the case. My Blake, something that he says every now and then is, he says, I don't know how you deal with all the personalities you have to deal with on any given day. He's like, I couldn't do that. And it's something that, especially depending on your own, how you react to things, or your own natural self, introvert, extrovert, ambivert, whatnot. But I value my decompressing days, if I don't have to go somewhere on a weekend, or, but I think a lot of people, if it's maybe an argument, disagreement, whatnot, there's a lot of people that just are listening to what you are saying to have a reaction, but not to understand. And one of my pet peeves is, if I'm talking to somebody, I'm trying so hard to express myself and be understood, and you can just see it that you don't even barely get 2 sentences out, and they are already thinking about what they want to say, like to kind of go back at you or whatnot. But it's listening to understand, not just to react. It's a big difference.
I think women we're pretty 50-50 because we have to react because there's so many things happening, and we have to, step in a lot of times as a business owner, as a parent, as, a spouse, as, just a coworker. The reaction driven these days, right? But how many times do we get to actually have a conversation with an active listener? Like, that is so important. That is so important. So when you are having a good, healthy conversation with someone, who's usually that person on your end that's like, when you walk away, you're like, yep, and here we go. That empowered me. That was good. Who's that for you?
Depends on what the conversation is, or what is the situation. I will say, as a restaurant, being a restaurant owner, and of course never owned a business before this either, but before Valerie's even opened, I met this amazing woman. Her name is Chef Shari, and she has been my rock solid, has my back mentor since before, again, Valerie's opened. She is amazing. She is extremely talented. Herself, she had a fine dining restaurant for over 30 years, culinary trained chef. Met her, again, another definitely a blessing, when my mom was on Marketplace before Valerie's opened, looking for restaurant furniture, equipment, whatnot. Because everything in Valerie's, as far as the furnishings, are secondhand. I like eclectic, so I'm good with it. But So met Mama Shar, I call it Mama Shar, through Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace. Mom and I went to go and, see what she had. Ended up spending 4 hours the first time we met together, and we just hit it off.
Clicked. So you know your people when you just link, it just clicks.
Mm-hmm.
So we're wrapping it up, and we want to bundle this together, right? What is one word that you would pass along to a woman in the Great Lakes Bay region?
A word.
A key word. You have lots of words in Valerie's. I know it. I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
What is one word that you would give a piece of advice to?
Be brave.
Be brave.
Be brave.
Be brave.
Jump. It's never too late to make a change in your life. Never. I've worn many career hats in my days. It's never too late to change.
Thank you.
But yes, and just real quick, I know we're wrapping up, but
we'll have to add it afterwards. But thank you so much. We have Juliana, and she said to be brave and to jump. Thank you for tuning in to That's What She Said, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.